behalf of National Council for Cooperative Training, I welcome all of you, and we share with you that with pleasure that this is the national webinar organized on a topic on rejuvenating primary agriculture cooperative society issues and challenges and way ahead. This is the seminar which was basically decided to organize because PACS being the grassroots institution, how to strengthen grassroots institution is one of the big thought process which is going on across the country, more particularly after formation of the new Ministry of Cooperation. We have with us the chief guest who is chairing the session, Secretary, Ministry of Cooperation, Government of India, Sri D.K. Singh ji. We have also the other dignitaries, our Additional Secretary and Central Registrar, Sri Vijay Kumar ji, and Joint Secretary and Vice Chairman, Executive Council, National NCCT, Sri Amrit Kumar Singh ji. We have also fortunate to have with us the OSD to Honorable Cooperation Minister, Dr. K. Patil. We have Chairman of Model Bylaw Committee, Sri A.P. Reddy ji, who represents one of the most successful cooperative at the grassroots level, known as Mulkunur Agriculture Credit Cooperative Society from Andhra Pradesh. We have also the other members, Sri Kuldeep Singh ji, Chief General Manager, Sri R.P. Nanda ji, General Manager, Himachal Pradesh State Cooperative Bank, and also the Director, WAMICOM, the National Institute for Cooperative Training, Dr. Himayat. We have also, in this occasion, in this national webinar, the representatives, particularly the chairman, the president, and the secretaries of primary agriculture cooperative societies on pan-India basis have been also joined through this, particularly through this portal and also through live stream. We have also with us all the training institution, right from Junior Cooperative Training Center to state level cooperative training institution, and also the training institution of NCCT, ICM, RICM, and National Institute for Cooperative Management. Sir, some of the state representatives of the state government RCS are also online, more particularly from Kerala, Jharkhand, Punjab, Haryana. We welcome also the representatives of state cooperative bank, district cooperative banks, and also state cooperative union, which are responsible for cooperative training and education. Today is a great occasion because the country is celebrating 75th year of Azadi ka Mahotsav, and today is a dedicated day for the cooperation. And we are fortunate to host this national webinar, which will be a step to strengthen and rejuvenate the cooperative at the grassroots. They are the school of democracy at the lowest level. As I welcome also the international agencies representative from UNDP and also from University of Michigan State University representative from US. They are also online. As we are aware that cooperative credit has been playing a pivotal role in the country as far as availability and provisioning of agriculture credit is concerned, and PACS are the building blocks at the grassroots. And they are representing not today but over a period of 100 years. So historically, their presence is one of the largest number of years. As an institution, they are catering the basic need of credit to agriculture farmers. And one of the largest credit units which is represented in India. Globally, they are one of the largest movement at the grassroots. We have we have seen over a period of time there is a dwindling share of cooperative credit uh, due to many reasons, but and also sometime on different occasions on the discussions and on the in the policy circle, we find that the question of relevance of PACS are being discussed. We have also come across many reports, many studies where it has been found that these institution needs a big policy push, and also there are certain basic difficulties, basic challenges and issues which this sector is confronting, more particularly related with their viability issues, more related with their operational issues, more related with their governance issues, and also more related with their control issues, regulatory issues, and also the computerization and digitalization at the grassroots. These are some of the studies which are indicated on pan-India basis, and there are regional variations on these difficulties. So we have compiled those data and information on region-wise, which as a separate paper we'll be presenting to the government. We have made a small study on before taking it up. State-wise, what are the major challenges they are facing, sir? So then we also know that these institutions, though their share is very reducing, it is falling very sharply due to other players, presence of other players in the this credit space. But one very important component which has emerged is they are serving to the marginal and small farmers. Their clientage is only for which the other institutions are shy away. So this is one of the basic information. Their market share in the that is the reason why the Kisan credit card is one of the instrument to support the farmer is being circulated through PACS, and they are in large numbers from the corporate fold. The second information, very important information is, besides they serve to their clientage is to the small and marginal farmer, they are existing and covering almost 80% of the villages in India. So they know the rural ethos. They understand their linkages, backward and forward linkages are very strong in a rural structure of country. And the third and fourth foremost important feature which has emerged is they are, though they are the meant for initially or traditionally they are meant for credit dispensation, but there are various enabling provisions, and they are capable. These PACS are capable of diversifying into non-credit activities. It could be input-output marketing, processing. It could be customer hiring of the equipment, or it could be processing or retail services, or so many other areas where they have ventured into. It is insurance in which they are working, petrol pumps they have been opened, institution, particularly the Sahakarita Pathsala, they have opened up in many places in Maharashtra and Gujarat and in Kerala. There are hospitals, they are into the health sector, they are into fuel and green energy sectors. So there is immense potential, and particularly the success story of PACS of Kerala is what replicating in other parts of the country. So these are the few areas in which now the concept of PACS to converting into multi-service center, where they diversify, they strengthen their capital base, and they get into not only the business from the credit, but also from the non-credit and non-fund businesses from various diversified areas and products. So, so that they become really the vision, they align with the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat and vocal for local concept, where the local community is being served, and many of the institutions, particularly Malkanur and in Kerala also, they are running, they are having the pension, like welfare services to the members, like pension scheme, health insurance scheme, and old age income scheme when the farmers they are unable to devote time in the farming. So community development are some of the various state the PACs have undertaken. These are the areas where diversification is taken, and I'm sure that these are not far off when the policymakers of the country were focusing on increasing the number of PACs and also strengthening their gaps, particularly in those areas for governance and digitalization and operational revenues are being enhanced. They would be truly Atmanirbhar for the local village economy, and the country will progress manifold. With this background information, I would now request our Joint Secretary and the Vice Chairman Activity Council, Sri Ajay Kumar Singh ji, to kindly enumerate the new initiatives taken by new Ministry of Cooperation related with the PACS. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mishra ji. So my role is to do a context setting for this webinar. Uh, Respected chief guest of this program, our secretary Shri D.K. Singh sir, our additional secretary Vijay sir, all the eminent panelists, dignitaries, and guests from all across the country, from PACS and the higher up institutions like DCCBs, SCCBs, state cooperative unions. I welcome all of you. So I'll briefly touch upon three particular aspects in PACS. First is what are the issues that they are grappling with in a today's world. Second is what are the efforts of Government of India, be it through Agriculture Ministry, what we are contemplating in Ministry of Cooperation, plus what NABARD has taken as steps to help PACS. And third is I would like to leave all of you with certain 4 or 5 issues on which you can actually elaborate upon, you can think loudly on these issues, and maybe at the we as a ministry want you to actually give some recommendation on these 4 or 5 bullet points so that they act as a input to us for our policy formulation, for our intervention in various schemes. So to start with, I'll like to enumerate upon the different issues that PACS are grappling with in today's world. So first one is the area of operation that these PACS are actually going through. As per my field experience, I know there is a threshold limit for every PACS to at least have, so that they can actually have a vibrant business. They can have a income revenue stream through which they can sustain themselves. If this area is actually going down beyond this threshold limit, it cannot sustain itself. The similar sort of exercise was also taken after the Vedyanathan package. It happened all across the country. So do we still require such sort of exercise to be taken all across the country? This is one question that we, all of us here in ministry, in state governments, are actually pondering upon. So your attention is sought on this issue. Second important is the credit related issues. There's a very clear declining trend in the borrowing membership. We were sitting at 40% of KCC loans just 15-20 years back, and today we are hardly on 15-16%. And every passing day it is actually going down and down. So it is our responsibility, and rather we see PACS to be the major player in KCC. This is what the ministry wants. This is what the Government of India wants, and I think we need to finalize strategies which can help us to increase the credit flow from PACS. Because as Mishra ji has also enumerated, they know the local people, they know the rural ethos, they know the rural setup, what are their requirements, what sort of credit is required for them. Then second point related to credit only is the inadequate financial resources that PACS have. So are there any revenues that PACS can generate? Do we require new credit products for them to be explored upon? So these are few points I think you as a participant of this webinar can actually think over. There are poor recoveries. This is also one of a very important aspect that we must understand. Poor recoveries is a very difficult aspect because every time NABARD is giving refinancing through this structure to SCBs, to DCCBs, there is imbalance of payments which is happening between all three, I'll say, SCBs to DCCBs and then DCCBs to PACS. So we need to understand what would be the better way to improve upon these recoveries. Apart from NABARD, PACS doesn't have any important revenue source through which they can actually fund over these activities. So there is a higher cost of borrowing that PACS are actually facing as an issue today. So that is also a point where I feel your deliberations would be required. Uh, there is another important point in the credit that there is a dichotomy of short-term credit structure and long-term credit structure. I would like everybody who is a participant in this webinar to actually throw upon their viewpoint that do we still require these two dual credit structure at the country level, or is it an appropriate time that now we can think of a unified system? So this is a very important policy decision. Maybe in a times to come we would like to thresh upon this issue, and it's a very important point I'm flagging for all of you. uh, Coming to the issues, the third one are the HR related and capacity building related issues, the technology related issues which PACs are facing. For the fourth, I'll say external interferences, governance issues, and more importantly, for a defunct PACs, we can say for a non-functioning PACs, there are fraudulent practices issues are also an important aspect that we must ponder upon. There is an important aspect that we have given even a important work to one of our committee for creating model PACS bylaws. The main mandate for doing such exercise was to creating an enabling mechanism for the PACS by which they can diversify their activities. So these are the important issues which act as a background for our webinar. Now I would like to come upon the efforts that Government of India has actually played upon in last 2-3 years for improving the situation of PACS. There is a 10,000 FPO scheme of Government of India, and all the FPOs which are working, even PACS can be one of the players in this. So there is a very good hand holding from Government of India level in a form of 15 lakh rupees, that is 2,000 rupees per member. Then it can be further appended with rupees 18 lakh per FPO in a form of salary, equipment, office rent, utility charges. So such sort of initiative is already in place, and these 10,000 FPOs can be in either form, in form of companies, that is FPCs, or cooperatives. So this is one tool which is helping certainly PACS. There's an important aspect of PACS to be acting as a multi-service center. There's a NABARD scheme dedicated for that. There are certain activities for which there is a capital subsidy program which NABARD is already running, and it's a very good instrument which is helping PACS at the field level. Thirdly, there is an agriculture infrastructure fund which is already in existence, and through interest subvention, any new activity which PACS and other cooperative society want to take up, it can be taken up under this scheme, and a fair amount of interest subvention is being extended to them. In the coming times, what Ministry of Cooperation is making efforts for is computerization of PACS. It's a scheme which we have already exposed all state governments. They are also onboarded. We have already done consultations. It's in the final stages of approval, and maybe in a very short span, it will be a good news for the PACS and supporting institutions like DCCBs and SCBs, that it will be a fully integrated system from right running from a village level up to a national level. So it will act as a one very important reform in this particular domain. We are also coming up with new education and training scheme, and I think PACS would be the greatest beneficiary of this scheme, whereby not only their officials, office bearers, but members would also be exposed to their rights, their duties. Awareness program would be run from this. So I think it will be creating a conducive environment for PACS. Again, there is another umbrella scheme of Sahakar Se Samriddhi which we are working upon, and it will also come up in a short span of time. And there will be intervention where any cooperative society can take help of capital subsidy through this scheme, and plus their day-to-day needs in a form of management related issues, their economic projects that they want to make, technological adoption issues, branding, all those would be actually dealt through this particular scheme. So this is another effort which Government of India is contemplating, and we are in a stage of evolving this particular scheme. I would also like to highlight upon a couple of studies which government has already given, but to be precise, I'll touch upon one particular study which we are actually given to NEFSCOR, whereby we have asked them to do a nationwide study on defunct PACS and the measure for its revival. So that is also that will also act as an input for our further policy and scheme formulation efforts. So at the end, I would like to actually leave upon with a few questions, and I would like your attention, your deliberation to build up during these different speakers' speeches and feedback that we would also be getting even after the webinar. It can be part of, it has to be part of the report that NCCT would be generating at the end. So what are the major concerns, challenges and issues that PACs are facing today? So this is the first important point, so that their delineation will actually help, because problem definition is the first step. Once we have already identified this problem, we can always try and find a solution for that. Second is, what new intervention are required further for making this PACS a more viable entity, because I've already enumerated 5-6 steps which Government of India is already taking. I don't want a repetition on that. Please try and find if anything else is required more than what is already on the table. It has to be a new thing. It has to be a new thought. It has to be a new policy intervention that you are seeking from government. It could be a new scheme component that you are looking for. Please try and address in that form, so that it should not be repetitive in nature. Do we still need a different short-term and long-term credit structure? This is also a very important point. I seek your attention on this and your opinion. Can we have a synergy between long-term and short-term credit structure is an important point to dwell upon. Apart from model bylaws, which we would be actually seeing a presentation upon, do we still require any other legal reform to make PACs further grow in their stature? So I would like your inputs in this particular. So please don't delve on the model PACs bylaws, because that is one exercise which has already been done. Don't be repetitive in that. So I want your inputs if you require any other legal reform that is required, legal inputs that you see. So with these few words, I would like to congratulate NCCT for organizing this important webinar. I am also thankful to our secretary and additional secretary, sir, who has given this mandate to us to actually deliberate for a half day on this very important issue. And I sincerely seek your inputs, because me as a joint secretary is at such a cutting edge level that I am facing these issues on a day-to-day basis. And your input is going to be very helpful, not only for the ministry, but for the nation, for understanding and resolving this issue. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. And it was really thought-provoking. You touched upon the genuine issues which the PACs are being confronted every now and then, more particularly at the reform, at the structural level, at the operational level, at the governance level. And you had given focused upon three major issues which were related with the credit issues and how to make the PACs as a vibrant entity, a business model at the local level, as well as you also given that is it possible to have our short term and long term together and create a unified structure if need arises. So beside this, there are other issues which you focused upon the more particularly the government of India's recent initiatives in strengthening the PACs, more particularly through agri-infra fund, through the opportunities available through formation of cooperatives, through cooperative act or company act, and also the various opportunities in schemes of the NABARD, more particularly multi-service center PACs. So, and the schemes which is launched and likely to be launched for the benefit of PACs, Sarkar to Samriddhi, and also the new scheme on the education and training, where particularly members' education is the one of the thrust area for which PACs will be highly benefited. So these were some of the very important need-based issues which were discussed. And now I request our next speaker. He is industry expert and representing as a chief general manager NABARD, Sri Arun Prasad Das. He is CGM Uttarakhand NABARD. So now I request Sri Das to kindly focus upon one of the biggest challenges which is being faced by PACs, more particularly pertaining to how, improving the control mechanism, how their inspection, MIS, audit, compliances are being taken up, their balance sheet formation is being taken up timely, and also strengthening their designing a common platform. Maybe it could be common accounting standard to make things more transparent in business lines, etc. So now I request Dr. Prashad to kindly take the lead and steer on this topic.
Good morning, sir. Respected Secretary, Ministry of Cooperation, D.K. Singh, sir. Additional Secretary, Vijay Kumar C. Joint Secretary, Sri Abhay Kumar Singh ji. And my colleague from Head Office, Kuldeep Singh ji. And Mohan Kumar Mishra ji, Secretary, NCCT. I am thankful to NCCT for providing me this opportunity to speak on the internal issues and with the decline of the long-term cooperative credit structure, PACs have got an enhanced role in the requirement of both long-term and short-term credit. And apart from that, PACs also provide non-credit services to farmers in terms of providing other supports like inputs and so many other services which PACs provide. Next.
The presentation is not visible. I think, please continue, Dr. Das.
Sir, is it not visible, sir?
किसे काम करना है उससे वहीं से होना
So you kindly continue so that we are trying.
हाँ now it is आ गया बोलो बता दो visible होके बता
Now it is visible. Please,
visible sir, continue sir, visible.
Yeah.
Sir, is it visible?
Yeah, visible, sir.
So basically the primary agricultural credit societies are guided by their respective cooperative societies act as far as their accounting system is concerned. And after the Vaidyanathan committee came into picture, for the first time, a modern and modern accounting system driven common accounting system was introduced. And within that common accounting system, for the first time, the prudential norms of income recognition, asset classification, provision, and capital adequacy, these are the concepts which were introduced in the common accounting system. But till now, if we see, the accounting standard prescribed by ICI for non-corporate entity are still not mainstream, but largely majority of the modern accounting system and disclosure norms are incorporated in the common accounting system. I'll just touch upon the basic features of common accounting system, which was introduced as part of the non-financial covenant of the Vaidyanathan committee. That is formulated as part of the revival package. Accounting practices of various, while this particular common accounting system was created, it was done through a very consultative process where accounting systems of various states, the PACS which they are following, were also converged. And there are three pillars of this common accounting system. It should have the universally accepted the concept and principle of maintaining accounts. The adoption of standard financial statements. Many of the states, for preparation of the final accounts, they do not have any standard pro forma, which was also created within the common accounting system parameters. Then general ledger heads, common general ledger heads of the accounts, financial statements, and minimum standard books of accounts were also prescribed. CS was basically introduced that it gives a disclosure of the financial status of PACS as a very distinct and separate business entity. So the disclosure aspect was also taken into account so that we, by looking at the final account statement, really know how strong is the primary agricultural credit society as far as its financial strength is concerned. Next slide, please. Actually, before it comes, I am just continuing with my presentation. The accounting principles under the common accounting system was very simple, straightforward, with a double entry bookkeeping system. And a distinction was created between capital and revenue expenditure because many PACs had got, in the traditional sense, sometimes they used to confuse between the capital and revenue expenditure. And if that happens, then the final accounts will have a very distorted picture about the financial strength. And investment valuation, book debt valuation, these are very important for finally drawing the books of accounts of the PACs. Adequacy of provision for doubtful advances, which became the cornerstone of the modern accounting system, that was brought into what I initially told, that for the first time we brought about income recognition, asset classification, and provisioning and capital adequacy. These are the four things which got reflected while preparing the common accounting system. Then clear demarcation with regards to provision, contingency, and reserves. Because at what point of accounting, provisions have to be created, at what point of the accounting, reserves have to be created, that was very clearly defined. So provisions and reserves, which happens once the net profit is done and after the net profit is done, was very clearly defined within the common accounting system. And at the end, a comprehensive manual was prepared, which was called for the common accounting system. And the same manual was distributed all over the country so that the PACs can adopt common accounting system at all levels. But the majority, the problem was that in many places, the common accounting system has been adopted by the PACs. But as you know that there were several states, those who could not participate in the Vaidyanathan package exercise, many of them have so far not been able to adopt this common accounting system. Next, I will come to the audit and inspection part of it. Statutory audit of PACS, again, it is conducted under the respective Cooperative Societies Act by departmental auditors. And many states, a separate directorate of audit has been created, which devotes its energy for regularly conducting the audit of the PACS. But sir, as you know, PACS audit is generally done once in a year to draw up the final accounts of the society. And there is no system of a concurrent audit or regular audit of the PACS. And for that, actually, a separate system has been created. The separate system is that the STCB and DCCB, as the primary lender of the PACS, they are expected to do regular inspection of the PACS. So, but that is not as regular as it should be. So naturally, we can only come to know about the running of the PACS in terms of its financial transaction at the end of the year. So this is one of the major problems which we face when we evaluate the performance of the PACS in terms of its financial integrity, discipline, and maintenance of proper accounts. The scope of the audit, which is prescribed as part of the, whether the PACS are, their affairs are conducted as per the provisions of the Cooperative Societies Act and the bylaws, whether they are accepting deposits and lending to the members only, because that is a restriction. PACS cannot give loans to people, those who are not its members. Whether they are investing their surplus in the specified instruments, whether they are verifying their asset quality and proper recognition of the income. One of the most important part of PACS being a very multifaceted organization, it has got a wing which deals with the financial part of it, like providing credit. Another part of the PACS is that it does trading, it does storage, it provides input to the farmers. So there is a stock element to it. There is a physical stock available in the PACS. And a stock valuation is not only the asset valuation in terms of asset quality of a loan account, but simultaneously whatever stock it is holding has to be valued on a regular basis so that there is no loss or deterioration in the stocks. So these stock verification and valuation is also important part of the audit. Then to ensure the financial statement as true and fair account of the affairs of the PACS, that has to be ensured during the audit. But there are certain deficiencies which during the course of inspection of NABARD of the District Central Cooperative Bank, a part of the inspection is also devoted for visiting PACS and seeing and inspecting the affairs of the, some of the common deficiencies which you have observed during the course of our inspection. I am just bringing it out to your notice so that we'll appreciate that what kind of systemic changes has to be brought, that these deficiencies are not becoming an impediment in development of the PACS. KYC norms, most of the PACS, they don't adhere to the KYC norms, because that has become the cornerstone of all financial transactions in today's world. Monthly reconciliation of the books of the PACS with the DCCB's balance is not done, because DCCB branch is the primary financier of the cooperative, and all banking transactions PACS do with the DCCB. Every month, the balances of the PACS have to be it has to be reconciled with the balance at the bank level. That needs to be done. Incorrect calculation of overdues leading to underestimation of NPAs. Non-performing asset underestimation is another area if the overdues are not recognized properly. One very disquieting factor is audit in area. In many states, the audit is not done in the same year, subsequent year. Sometimes the audit is in area for 2 to 3 years, which is, and final accounts were also pending. This is one area which really needs proper attention at this moment. Then erroneous accounting practices followed by PACS leading to imbalances. Imbalance is one area of real concern for any kind of supervisory action. There is a huge imbalance in many states because of improper accounting practices. Books of accounts are not being closed on a daily basis. Sometimes it is kept in arrears. Absence of maker and checker concept. Many a times, because banks are also accepting deposits, so they cannot, there has to be a maker and checker concept, otherwise it is fraught with risk. And the minimum procedural requirement for maintaining the deposit accounts of PACS that is not followed, that is fraught with risk. There is deposit insurance also, because PACS are accepting deposit. It is a concern for both RBI, for NABARD, that there should be adequate deposit insurance in case of any kind of a loss. The depositor should not be put into loss. And many states so far has not adopted the CRAR concept of the PACS. Many states they have already adopted. In some states, it is still not adopted. The minimum capital adequacy requirement that was recommended by Vaidyanathan committee has not been adopted. Loan documents now, because PACS are lending not only the crop loan, they are also lending in the term loan area. As I told you earlier, that in many places, long-term credit structure has not stopped functioning. So long-term loans are being given. So naturally, the loan documents have to be scrutinized. Legal audit and other audits has to be done properly. And audit compliances, whether the PACS are really providing the proper compliance to the audit observations, there is proper follow-up action is required. So that needs to be strengthened. Otherwise, many audit observations remain uncomplied for years together. So this is basically what is a scenario analysis I have done in respect of the financial affairs of the bank and the kind of audit that is required to be conducted, so that the financial health of the PACS, which is the building block for any kind of structure we are going to build